Hello student, how are you all? I hope you all are doing good. Okay, so we are going to study the digestion in our animals, all right, basically the human beings. So in the previous class, we have discussed everything that is present in the mouth, like teeth, tongue, and the salivary glands. Okay, now after chewing it, the food enters one pipe. So we are going to discuss that. Okay, so observe this organ, that is oesophagus, and what you can see about oesophagus. So from where this oesophagus start, from where this oesophagus end, is there any type of digestion in this oesophagus or not? So all this type of question you have to think for a few minutes, a few seconds you have to think, then I will discuss further. Okay, yes. So from where it starts, students? Who will tell me? Oesophagus starts from where? Yes. Yes, students. So there is pharynx, and then there is a start of oesophagus. Okay. So if anyone will ask what is the starting point of oesophagus, that is from pharynx. Clear? Oesophagus, as it carries the food, so it is also known as food pipe. Okay, and we can see where it terminates. So this organ is stomach. So oesophagus ends in stomach. Okay, so we can see here that the food which comes from the pharynx, it goes from the oesophagus. This is a long path and it enters into the stomach. Okay, and for the thing that there is no such digestion in oesophagus. Okay, as we have seen the digestion in our mouth, that it has the digestion of starch, but in oesophagus there is no such digestion. Okay, simply food from our mouth or buccal cavity starts and it enters into the stomach. Okay, now you can see here that the process through which it is moving down. So to see the process how it is moving down, observe this image first. Okay, yes, I will give you 30 seconds to observe the image. What is actually happening in this area? Yes, yes, students. Yes, very good. So students, see here, this is a straight pipe. Okay, and we know that this oesophagus is also a muscular organ. Okay, so in muscular organ there is a wave formation, and that wave formation is formed by contraction. Suppose if there is contraction in this area, then what will happen to the another area, the next area? There will be relaxation. Okay, so there is a wave formation in the oesophagus, that is area of contraction and area of relaxation. Now see student, this is a food which comes out from the mouth forming bolus. Okay, so how this bolus is coming down? Suppose there is one contraction in the muscular tissue of the esophagus, then this bolus comes down. Okay, there is complete tight contraction. You can see here. And here is contraction, but this part has relaxation area. Okay, now as soon as the food comes down, then this area will have contraction and this area will have relaxation. I hope you all are understanding this. So there is continuous contraction and relaxation happening in the oesophagus. which pull down the food from mouth cavity to the stomach part. Okay, so moving forward, students, just now we have studied everything regarding the oesophagus. Now we will study or read this statement that it is a tube-like structure. First of all, it is a tube-like structure which connects the mouth to the stomach and runs along the neck and the chest. This is our neck and this is our chest. It runs along it. It carries slightly digested food from the mouth to the stomach. Food is pushed downward by a wave-like movement of the wall of food pipe as a result of alternate contraction and relaxation. This movement is known as peristalsis. And the key statement is that we have discussed there is no digestion in the oesophagus. Okay, so the contraction and the relaxation in the oesophagus is known as peristalsis. And as there is no enzyme in the esophagus, so there is no digestion. Okay, so we will move to the next part of this, student. So student, sometimes we have faced vomiting. As soon as we have eaten something, there is vomit, or if we have eaten too much, so after a few hours there is vomiting. Okay, and you must remember that whenever we go to some party and we eat lot of things, so if we do lot of fooding things, then what will happen? If our stomach cannot digest those food, it will come out. So this process is known as vomiting. Okay, so what is actually vomiting? So the chewed food that enters the esophagus from mouth and is passed down to the stomach is called bolus, that we have studied. Sometimes food is not accepted by our stomach and is vomited out because the food moves in the opposite direction from stomach to the mouth by anti-peristalsis movement in the esophagus. Okay, so there is anti-peristalsis movement. Like peristalsis movement, there is contraction and relaxation. It will occur reverse. The food that is in the stomach will go back in this fit. Okay, there will be contraction and food will go up. Again there will be contraction, then again this food will go up. So in this process is known as anti-peristalsis movement. So the main cause of vomiting is that the food is not accepted by our body, or we have eaten excess of food and there will be occurrence of anti-peristalsis in our esophagus. And so all the food particles that are entered into our stomach will come out from our mouth. So this is the complete process of vomiting. So moving forward, student, the food moves through the alimentary canal through DAS process. So what is the process known? We have discussed. Yes, the food moves through the alimentary canal through the process known as, who will tell me? It is called peristalsis. Till here anyone has any type of problem, then you can ask me. Okay. Okay, so this is very interesting topic, student, as we all have issue or seen or experienced hiccups in our daily life. Like while we are eating something, there is hiccup. I will also do for you. So this is type of hiccups that we usually get sometimes. And there is one superstition behind the hiccup is that someone is remembering you. Yes or no? If you hiccup, then you think that, or your elder says that someone is remembering you. But leave those things. We are going to discuss about the scientific facts why there is hiccup occurring in our body. Okay, so are you all interested in knowing this? What is hiccups? Yes. Okay, so moving forward, students, see, this is very complex image, but you have to see here what is the path of food and what is the path of air. I am giving you 30 seconds to verify this image, to look upon this image very well and tell me what is the path of food and path of air. Yes, so look here student, this is our mouth. I am putting some arrow also, and this is our nose. For nose I am putting some different arrows. Okay, now see, let's suppose this is our nose and air is coming from nose and it will enter this way through the air pipe. Okay, but this is our mouth and food is going to enter this way. Okay, now here we can see that there is one crossover. There is cross of path of air and food, but still you can see here that there is one flap like structure. Can you see this flap like structure? This is known as epiglottis. Suppose I am clearing this diagram over here. This is your air pipe and this is your food pipe. Okay, and the air has to enter here and food has to enter here. So to prevent the food entering into the air pipe, there is one flap like structure, and that flap is known as epiglottis. Okay, so whenever the food is coming, epiglottis closes its cap over the air pipe so that food cannot enter here. But sometimes what happens, the muscular or tissue, that is epiglottis, do not work efficiently, so sometimes food by chance enters into this air pipe, but due to the hiccup, what happens, the food is released out and it comes into the food pipe or it comes out of the mouth also. So these are the reasons of hiccups. So I hope you have understood this. We will read reasons. So student, our windpipe that carries air from nostril to our lungs and food pipe runs adjacent to each other. Air and food share a common passage in the throat. Okay, air and food share a common passage. So when we swallow the food, a flap-like valve, that is epiglottis, closes the passage of windpipe and guides the food to the food pipe. But if we laugh or talk while eating, the windpipe remains open and the food pipes enter into the windpipe and we experience the hiccup, cough or choking characteristics, that is gulping sound repeatedly and coughing, clearly the blockage of windpipe. So basically student, our elders also says that while we are eating, we should not talk to others. Why it is so? Because while talking, the air pipe remains open. Okay, so we should not talk and while eating, so that the food may enter into the food pipe and not in the air pipe. Okay, so moving to the next part. So student, what will happen if the food enters into the lungs? So this was the air pipe and this was the food pipe. Now suppose this food is entered into this pipe and reached the thoracic cavity which contains the lungs. Okay, so what will happen student? Yes, if the food enters the lungs, there will be death of the person. Okay, so the flap-like aperture which protects the food entering into the windpipe is known as, yes student, who will tell me? What is it is known as? The flap-like aperture. Yes, it is known as epiglottis. Okay, so we are moving forward. Now we have studied complete thing about the esophagus. Now about the stomach. So basically, who discovered stomach, students? So there was one scientist. Basically, he was a doctor, and he lived in America. So he is an American doctor named William Beaumont in 1822. Okay, so he was a scientist who for the first time discovered the functioning of stomach. Now we will also study how did he discover this stomach. We will study about its story behind it. So before moving forward, so first of all we will study the stomach shape, size, where it is present. Okay, so you can see here it is a stomach and it is a shape of U-shaped and it is a muscular organ. Yes, it is a muscular organ. So it is a thick-walled bag-like structure which is present on the left side of the abdomen. Its shape is like flattened U and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. The semi-digested food from oesophagus enters into the stomach where the further digestion takes place. So student, we know that the food that is coming from the mouth now has entered into the oesophagus. Now from there it has entered into the stomach. So we all know that there are different types of chemical formed in the stomach. From there, what will happen? The food will be digested very easily. Okay, so we will move further. Okay, student. Now it's time to see the story behind this discovery of stomach. So what happened that in 1982, a man named Alexis Saint Martin was badly hit by shotgun. Okay, so there was a man. Let's suppose this is a man whose name is Alexis. So the bullet had seriously damaged the chest wall and made a hole in the stomach. Okay, so the person name is Alexis and he was shot by a gun. So what happened that near his chest, let's suppose this is a man and here is his chest, and there after hitting a bullet there was hole made. Okay, so he was brought to the American army doctor. His name was William Beaumont. Okay, so the doctor saved the patient, but he could not close the hole properly and left it bandaged. So what happened? William Beaumont treated the Alexis, but he cannot cover up the hole that was made in the chest. So he simply bandaged the body part. But Beaumont took it as great opportunity to see inside the stomach. Okay, so in this way, through that hole only, the doctor Beaumont watched every process which is occurring inside the stomach. He made some wonderful observation and he also discovered different types of chemicals that are produced in the stomach. So hope you have understood this story of finding of stomach. So now you have to answer this question, students. So who discovered stomach for the first time? Is it the William Beaumont, William Jorgen, John von Dunlop, or none of the above? So I will give you 30 seconds to answer this question. Yes, you have to think very carefully. We have studied right now who was the doctor who discovered stomach for the first time. Yes, so answer would be William Beaumont. Okay, now we will recapitulate the things whatever we have studied, like about the esophagus, causes of hiccups and stomach. So carbohydrate digestion takes place in the esophagus. Is it true or false, student? We have discussed it. Yes. So there is no any digestion, neither of carbohydrate nor of protein or fat. So complete there is no digestion because there is no digestive enzyme released in the esophagus. So we can say that this statement is completely false. So the flap-like aperture which protect the food entering into the windpipe is known as. So what was the structure named as? Yes, it is named as epiglottis. Okay, now tell me who discovered the stomach for the first time? Yes, just now we have done the MCQ type question. Yes, it was William Beaumont. Okay, now the last section, that is homework. Now you have to describe the hiccups in your own words, that you can do, and again you have to draw a chart of digestive system. Like today we have studied about the esophagus and also about the stomach. So in the next class you have to study more functioning of the stomach, so that it would be very easier for you to understand this. Okay, so till then, thank you student, have a nice day, be safe and be happy. Thank you everyone.